This is the best way to utilize those new SSRs. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? NoGoodEman coming to you today with an SSR selection guide video. So guys, in this video I want to talk to you guys about the recent SSR selection tickets you just received for the 1-year anniversary, the best ways to use them, whether you're a new player, whether you're a returning player, and even the best ways to get more SSRs via the new event. So strap in, folks. We've got quite a lot to talk about in this one video, but before we talk a single thing, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a live or an upload, and then of course support your boy on that Netmarble website. Join over 333 supporters. That must be a lucky sign for somebody. So go ahead and add to that supporter tally. More codes are coming soon. We've got 2 codes coming your way. If not this weekend, then the start of next week. But starting off with the video, let's go ahead and talk about the SSR selection tickets. We're on the pay to win account, so I currently have them because honestly I have pretty much every SSR hunter, but don't fret because I also have a free to play account that I've been playing extensively for the past 3 weeks. So I can give you guys the best definite characters that you definitely want to use. Now, if we just make it clear cut, what are the best hunters in each type, right? If we're gonna say what are the best 2 DPS hunters from this selection ticket, it's gonna be Tawata Kane or it's gonna be Thomas Andre. If you're gonna say what's the best breakers in this selection ticket, it's either gonna be Goto Ryuji or it's gonna be Esoradaru. If you're gonna say what's the best support units in this selection ticket, it's either going to be Isla Wright or it's going to be Mainland Fisher, or then you could throw in the boy Mean. Regardless, guys, when it comes to using your selection ticket, it really does depend on where you are at in your Soul of Your Rise journey. It depends on where you guys have your hunters. It depends on a plethora of things, right? Whether it's the content you're trying to face. Now, if you have invested into the recent water meta, like let's say you guys have Sauron, right? Sauron, Lady Sauron on, let's say, Advancement 5. So you're definitely invested into that water meta. You've been drawing for the Pure Sword Princess Shaheen in the latest banner, and you're trying to boost up that water meta because you're trying to tackle, let's say, the Workshop of Brilliant Light NoGoodEman, but you might lack a few dupes of Mainland Fisher. You might want to go for Mainland Fisher, guys. So that's a strategy that you kind of want to look for. You kind of want to look for that missing piece. And when it comes to hunter teams, something I want to reiterate is that the best way to utilize your hunter teams is by using hunters of the same element type. So often in the live streams, you guys ask me, hey, is, let's say, a team of Thomas Andre, Amamiya Mirai, and Esoradaru a good team? While that is a good team, guys, you're missing out on a lot of damage. You're missing out on a lot of benefits from just having elements of the same type in that same hunter lineup. So if you guys just want to see some quick team compositions, ignore the artifacts part, but looking at it, guys, all these teams are all of these same elements, and all of these hunters together are perfect synergy. So not saying you need to go ahead and grab yourself a, let's say, Hansi Mei if you have Goto Ryuji maxed out and you have Amamiya maxed out. I'm not saying, yo, go get an A0 Hansi Mei with that selection ticket. I'm saying just think about using hunters of the same element because they're going to boost basically each other in themselves. If we just want a quick example, I just want to go to Ryuji real quick because in his passives, I believe that somewhere he ends up boosting some team member, right? Whether it's the 3rd team member. Now Goto Ryuji, he's a little bit more flexible because in his A4, the damage of the 3rd team member in the party increases by 24%. Damage taken also increases by 12%. But if we look at somebody like, let's say, Esoradaru, she specifically boosts fire team damage, so increases fire team damage taken by 0.3. Now I do like the increases damage taken by 0.3, so that's nothing to scoff at, but a whole advancement 4 is 4% defensive penetration for the fire team members. So if you guys do run her with, let's say, a Thomas Andre and Amamiya Mirai, they're not getting that bonus. So that's just something to think about right now. Let's go ahead and go back. I've just talked about that, but let's talk about when it comes to the weapon. When it comes to the weapon, again, you probably want to go off the same basis where we were talking about, like the best DPS hunters, whether it be Tawata or Thomas Andre, the best supports, the best breakers. Now, what I will say for weapons, guys, the priority you guys should go off of weapons is going off a DPS hunter, and then I usually go to a support hunter, and then I go to the breaker hunter. Now, this may change, and I say may change because on my free-to-play account, when I first got my free-to-play account, I ended up getting Tawata Kane's weapon first, so the DPS, that was number 1, but the next weapon I actually got was Esoradaru. So why did that change for that specifically? Well, that's because Esoradaru's weapon is honestly pretty insane, so we got to go ahead and look at it, pull it up really quickly so you guys can know what I'm talking about. When it comes to Eso's weapon, that actually boosts Tawata Kane, so you can kind of see why I got that. The additional attack of the team member with the highest critical hit rate increases by 300 per 1,000 of Esoraru's additional attack. So something that boosts your other hunters is something you guys want to look for. And then Gina's was last, where this one also boosts the entire team. So when Mana Circulation activate, it increases all team members' attack and fire damage by 1%, stacking up to 10 times. So things you don't want to mistake, you definitely want to look at the weapon specifics, because some weapons can be very, very good. But the main reason I say that I usually put support breakers or breaker units in the last category is as, you know, third priority, is because if we look at somebody like Sauron's, she just increases her own missile damage. Now this isn't a bad thing because Sauron is a ranger unit, meaning that when she does break an opponent's gauge, she will be able to do a lot of damage on the back end. But the main DPS there, of course, is the Pure Sword Princess. She's going to be taking the limelight. Same thing with the wind meta. So if we go ahead and go to Ryuji, I believe his weapon also just increases his own basic skills or basic skill damage. The critical hit of Reverse Tempest or Storm Blade, that's going to increase by a certain amount of percent depending on the advancement you have. So I personally put that in the last priority. Of course, the DPS units are self-explanatory. These are your units that you guys will be doing the most amount of damage with. So you definitely want to be enhancing this. And Tawatakane, if you guys are going to invest in that unit, you definitely want to max out her weapon first and foremost as priority. If we just look at it at advancement 10, she's getting a 12% attack increase, 20% critical hit rate, and then it is an advancement 10, so the attack, defense, and HP by 15%. So honestly insane. And then if we want to even deepen it a bit further, I can give you guys some real deep strats. I suggest that you take your DPS units weapons to advancement 5 first, right? And then go ahead and get your breaker units to advancement, or no, get your support units weapons then next. So let's say in this case, the fire meta is not really a good example, but let's say the light meta. So if we say Mean, Gogenhi, and then, well, Gogenhi might not even be a good, yeah, Gogenhi's a good example, kind of, but Gogenhi, Mean, and then Thomas Andre. I would tell you guys to get Thomas Andre's weapon to A5 at first. Then I would say go ahead and get Mean's weapon all the way to A3 maybe. Get Gogenhi's weapon eventually at A0 when you have Means at A3, and then max out Thomas's to A10, and then max out Means, and then max out Gogenhi's. So that's just a strat. If you guys have a similar strat or a different strat, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. So don't forget to comment your thoughts on this, but that's just my personal strategy. So don't forget about it. When it comes to the SSR selection ticket, it is you guys' personal choice at the end of the day. You don't have to listen to this video. And if you made it this far, you probably are going to listen, because let's be honest, we're almost 7 minutes in. So hopefully you're taking this video with some grain of salt. Do not forget about those support units though. They are super, super important. Hunters in the game, it honestly will depend on whatever content you're going to clear. Now, if we just got to boil it down to the mid game, end game content, for the early game, the fire meta still is very, very good. I think for the middle game, that is when people are going to start looking for that wind meta, because the Workshop of Brilliant Light, when it comes to Baron and stuff like that, you definitely do want to lock in and have the proper units that can take him down, whether it be Amamiya Mirai, whether it be Goto Ryuji, or if you're using the dark team, you're probably going to use Charlotte, Harper, and Isla Wright. Now, we've talked about what you should do with those selection tickets. I'm not going to give you a clear-cut answer because everybody who's watching this has a different amount of progress on their account. So the video is a bit vague, so forgive me on that end. But I do want to talk about this first anniversary Grand Hunter Festival, because in this, you guys have the ability to get even more SSRs. So in Hunter Challenge, you see the final reward is actually going to be this new bow, Forest's Wish. So a Sunjinu weapon overview. This is going to be a new SSR that I do think that you guys can use in the mid game, as Netmarble's telling me I have no life. Regardless, guys, I think that this will be suited for most of you guys that are on the Workshop of Brilliant Light, the Monica White Flame. So on the Barn Workshop, when this is weak to, wait, what the hell? Vulcan's weak to everything now. Okay, this is hilarious. I didn't expect that. Oh, okay, only that's easy mode. Normal mode? Okay, oh, that's only easy mode. That really shocked me. Regardless, guys, the Barn Workshop, this one on hard mode still goes up to a high amount of power. So I do think that you guys will be able to utilize the Forest SSR. Usually the event SSRs that Netmarble release, it can't really clear end game content too often, unless like you're a super whale, you have all the TP in the world just to clear it and it doesn't even matter regardless. regardless, but I will say that it is hard to get these weapons advancement 10. So that's why I say this is more so an early game, a mid game weapon. But regardless, the best ways to get these as fast as possible is by clearing all these events. Now, how do you guys get these tickets? Obviously, you just got to play each and every game mode, whether it be the Cake Thief, the Assembly, Army of Shadows, Year of Adventure. This is really just like a gamba. So in a sense, you're just rolling a dice, waiting for something to happen. And then I think that it gives you some type of game lore. So you've uncovered information, then it's a report. You can read this, you can skip it regardless. And then you can either roll again, get some various different rewards, and you actually will get SSRs here. So you want to lock it in with these missions because logging in is just a reward in itself. Clearing gates is just a reward in itself, and it's going to give you a bunch, and I mean a bunch, right? So clearing gates 10 times, do that 3 times a week, and you'll get up to 15 of these. So make sure you lock it in, and then just logging in gives you one. So let's go ahead and just claim one by logging in. And guys, you eventually have the ability to get a Sunjinu SSR selection. So this one also, keep in mind, goes all the way up to the Stormbringer, Fan of the Fire Demon, and this one is super important. Now, we got to talk about it. Of course, timeless weapon is going to be that plum sword. You do want this at advancement 5. I don't care where you are in your soul leveling your rise journey. If you say, hey, I got the plum sword A0, start getting it to A5, and then you'll see a lot of the content get easier for you. The Moon Shadow is also very timeless, very good for the mid game if we're talking about the Bar and Workshop once more. Now, there is currently a Stormbringer meta going on, and a lot of people are clearing a lot of Proof of Strongs, myself included, with just the Stormbringer and content that is not even weak to win. So check out that Stormbringer video. We talked about it. This does utilize the Stormbringer along with the Divine Quarterstaff. So my top 5 weapons would definitely be the Plum Sword, Moon Shadow, Divine Quarterstaff, Stormbringer, and then maybe either the Thetis' Grimoire for things like Guild Boss or the DKD for things like Wind Weakness, again for the Workshop of Brilliant Light. Mid game and now the end game with the NoGoodEman. So we're preparing for hard mode NoGoodEman, and that's going to come through very soon. But as we keep on rolling the dice, we're going to go ahead and just keep on climbing these, and this won't come through. I'm not gonna lie, you guys will not really get the SSR Sunjinu selection all too quickly. This event lasts for 33 days, so I bet they're gonna drag it out just as long. But rolling the dice, it does get you guys, you know, various different rewards. So we're going up to 10, and we get a new information, whatever the case may be, and then we land wherever we land. We get an event card. Let's see what that allots. That allots a various amount of rewards, and then we did hit 50. And now we got one of the first rewards. So honestly, 300 is not too far off. But going back to the Hunters Challenge, because I low-key skipped over this, when it comes to building your team for this, I suggest that you guys pay attention to the points target. So Netmarble basically sets an amount of hunters, and with these hunters, if you guys use them in the battle, you'll get even more points, and that's exactly what you want to do. So if you guys have been drawing for Cha, take her to this battle, take her weapons to this battle as well, because you're going to have her weapon. Now, when it comes to dimensional advancements, I believe, and I say this loosely, but I believe dimensional advancements adds more points to the hunters that Netmarble is trying to push. So if I advance Cha Hae-in to at least advancement 6, I believe she would allot more points, and her weapon is already maxed out, so I don't have an example that I could use this for, unfortunately. But go ahead, when it comes to using these team compositions, you're probably just going to use the water meta because it does allow you guys to get points from Sauron and Maylene Fisher. So when it comes to just clearing this content, it's going to be super easy. It's also weak to water, so that's a double whammy. That's a double good thing. So go ahead, go in with Sauron, Maylene Fisher, and Cha Hae-in, the Pure Sword Princess. We're using the wet Cha now, so the old Cha's gotta go. She's on her way. But regardless, guys, this allows you guys to clear the content super easy. And we're gonna leave it on auto mode, honestly, because you can see how easy this content genuinely is. You won't have to really play this out too much, especially in the early chapters. I will say though, in the harder chapters, it gets hard. So look at that. Sauron is killing him before she even breaks his gauge. It's insanely too easy. So do not slack on these events. Get your free SSRs. And from there, what do you guys think of the SSR selection tickets? What do you think of the guides? What do you think of the events? Go ahead and leave your thoughts, theories, and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications, and with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.